Surely the righteous will rejoice in the Lord and take refuge in him. All the upright in heart will glory in him. Psalm 64:10. Hi everyone, welcome back to Copying the Master. This video takes us to Psalm 64, which is a deeply felt prayer from David. Once again, we will be using Matthew Henry's commentary, and if you're interested in the original detailed commentary, please see the link in the description box. David was a man surrounded by enemies, persecutors, and slaughterers. His whole life was often marked by danger, some oppression, or deceptive attacks. This psalm doesn't point just one specific moment, but it rather reflects a common theme throughout David's life, a plea for God's protection and a declaration of confidence in his justice. It's a reminder for our own life. So as we study this psalm, let's walk with David through his prayer, his description of the wicked, and his prophetic assurance of God's judgment. And along the way, we'll also see what response God desires from us, his people, when we witness his hand at work. Let's begin. Psalm 64. For the director of music, a psalm of David. Hear me, O my God, as I voice my complaint. Protect my life from the threat of the enemy. Hide me from the conspiracy of the wicked, from the plots of the evildoers. They sharpen their tongues like swords and aim cruel words like deadly arrows. They shoot from the ambush at the innocent, and they shoot suddenly without fear. They encourage each other in evil plans. They talk about hiding their snares. They say, "Who will see it?" They plot injustice and say, "We have devised a perfect plan." Surely the human mind and the heart are cunning. But God will shoot them with his arrows. They will suddenly be struck down. He will turn their own tongues against them and bring them to ruin. All who see them will shake their heads in scorn. All people will fear. They will proclaim the works of God and ponder what he has done. The righteous will rejoice in the Lord and take refuge in him. All the upright in heart will glory in him. Psalm 64. Hear me, my God, as I voice my complaint. Protect my life from the threat of the enemy. Hide me from the conspiracy of the wicked, from the plots of the evildoers. David begins by laying his danger before the Lord. He asks God to hear him, not just listen, but to act. He is asking for his life, which is especially precious to him because he knows that his life is meant to serve God and to benefit his generation. When his life is being threatened, it's understandable that he wouldn't just stay silent, just like in Esther 7:2 and 4. And if he mentions his fear of the enemy, that doesn't mean he's lacking courage. Even his forefather Jacob did the same. We can see that in Genesis 32:11. Save me, I pray, from the hand of my brother Esau, for I am afraid he will come and attack me. Therefore David pleads, preserve my life from fear of the enemy. Not only from the enemy itself, but from the inner torment that fear brings. Fear has torment, especially the fear of death, which holds many in bondage in all their lives. David as well prays to be hidden from the conspiracy of the wicked and the plots of the evildoers. These men he's describing weren't acting alone. They were plotting together in secret, and from whose secret counsel arose open rebellion. Their inner intent was not just to threat, but to overthrow and destroy him. Lord, hide me from them, because they are thoroughly wicked, men who should not be overlooked. They are dangerous and will not stop at anything. I am ruined unless you stand with me. They sharpen their tongues like swords and aim cruel words like deadly arrows. They shoot from the ambush at the innocent, and they shoot suddenly without fear. Psalm 64:3-6. In these words, as David continues, he gives us a clear and disturbing picture of his enemy. Remember, these men weren't just casually wicked or just a little evil. They're deeply malicious. They were going to attack suddenly, like someone shooting at an innocent bird that has no idea it's in danger. And David continues to describe them. First, he says their words are weapons. Their tongues are sharpened like swords, flaming, double-edged, and drawn in anger. Their words wound. They tear down reputations and strike with deadly intent. James 3:5 reminds us that the tongue is a small part of the body, but it makes great boasts. Like a sword, the tongue can destroy. It is a dangerous weapon. Second, David says their insults are arrows. These bitter words, the insults, the lies, the false accusations, the mocking names, they were all arrows. These are the flaming arrows of the evil one. Ephesians 6:16. Thirdly, the righteous are their target. These men, evil men, aim specifically at the upright. The more godly a person is, the more he is envied by the wicked, and the more they speak evil of him. They cannot speak peaceably to or about him. Now that's interesting to think about. And fourth, they act with stealth and boldness. They shoot from secret places without warning, giving no time to prepare or defend. As Proverbs teaches, spreading a net in full view of a bird is useless, so they shoot suddenly without warning, giving the person no fair notice or chance to defend themselves. Deuteronomy 27:24 says, "Cursed is anyone who kills their neighbor secretly." There's no defense against an attack made by a deceitful tongue. And fifth, they fear nothing, not even God. They show no fear, meaning they are confident in what they're doing and believe their malicious attacks will succeed. And more likely, their confidence stems not from strength, but from their particular denial of God's justice, even though the punishment for a lying tongue will surely come from Him. They are bold and shameless in the harm they do to upright people, as if they will never have to answer for it. Matthew Henry continues by writing, "It's bad enough to do wrong, but even worse, to urge ourselves and others on in doing it. That's doing the devil's work for him." When someone's heart is hardened this much, completely determined to do evil and unafraid of any consequences, it shows just how far they've gone. The conscience is meant to hold people back from doing wrong, but when it's silenced, the situations become hopeless. Therefore, every trap they set is planned in advance, it's written, carefully laid with the combined cunning of their wicked minds. They say in their hearts, "Who will see it?" Psalm 64:5. At the root of all their evil lies a disbelief in God's all-seeing knowledge, His omniscience. And 6, they work hard at evil. They plot injustice and say, "We have devised a perfect plan." Psalm 64:6. They search diligently for ways to accuse the righteous or invent new methods of harm, and they dig deep, even into the past, to find something to use. Evil people dig up mischief, as in Proverbs 16:27. Matthew Henry writes that the amount of energy many spend to destroy their souls could easily be used to save them instead. The heart is deceitful above all things and beyond care. Who can understand it? Jeremiah 17:9. Through the dark, twisted cleverness of both their minds and wills, they reveal themselves to be, both in their cunning and the cruelty, the true children of the old serpent. But God will shoot them with His arrow. They will suddenly be struck down. He will turn their own tongues against them and bring them to ruin. Psalm 64:7-8. But God. These two words shift the entire psalm. David's enemies had many arrows, but they were only bitter words, and words are but like the wind. A curse without cause will not come to pass. Their curses were empty, but God's curse is never without cause. His arrow, just one, is enough to wound and destroy. And when it strikes, it comes swiftly and unexpectedly, catching them off guard in their pride and security. Their tongues had been their weapon, but God will make their tongue their downfall. They will fall by their own words, some through open confessions, and others by the consequences of their lies. When God punishes people according to the punishment their sinful words deserve, and allows the harm they eagerly and cruelly wished on others to come back on them, He causes their own tongues to condemn them. This is a heavy burden, enough to sink a person to the very depths of hell, like a weight of lead. Many have destroyed themselves with their own words. Many have ruined their own souls through their tongue, and this will only increase their punishment. Proverbs 6:2. You are caught in the trap set by your own words. If you reject correction, you alone will suffer the consequences. Those who love to curse will have the curse come upon them. Therefore, all people will fear. They will proclaim the works of God and ponder what He has done. The righteous will rejoice in the Lord and take refuge in Him. All the upright in heart will glory in Him. Psalm 64:9-10. So we can see that all people will see and fear. They will recognize and observe God's hand in everything. And unless we do this, we won't benefit from the ways God works in our lives. Hosea 14:9. We all need to be careful to think about what God is doing, for it takes wisdom to interpret events rightly and not to twist the meaning. God's actions deserve our careful attention, Ecclesiastes 7:13. But again, we must consider them wisely so we don't misinterpret what is pure and clear. And when people see God's justice, they are warned not to follow the same path, but be filled with holy reverence for God when they consider His work. What we thoroughly understand for ourselves, we should share for the good of others and the glory of God. This is the finger of God. Fourth, the righteous will rejoice. The godly once again will be glad, not in the suffering of others, but in seeing God glorified, His promises fulfilled, and the innocent defended. It will strengthen their faith. They will trust God as they live faithfully, ready to risk anything for Him with complete confidence. And fifth, the righteous will boast in the Lord. The upright in heart, those who live with clear conscience before God and seek to please Him, will glory, not in themselves, but in God's favor, His righteousness, His goodness, and their relationship with Him. Let the one who boasts, boast in the Lord. 1 Corinthians 1:31. Psalm 64 reminds us that there is no secret plot that escapes God's notice, and that there's no sharp tongue that is beyond His justice. While the wicked may speak in the whispers and strike from their shadows, God's eye is on the righteous, and His judgment is sure. If you find yourself smeared, misunderstood, or surrounded by oppression, take heart. Like David, you can cry out, "Hear me, my God, as I voice my complaint. Protect my life from the threat of the enemy." God sees, God knows, and God will act in His time with perfect justice. So we wait, and we rejoice, and we take refuge in Him, and we glory not in ourselves, but in the Lord. What a great reminder we have from the Word of God. Thank you for joining me in today's study. I hope it encouraged you and blessed you. Connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, and other social media. I would love to hear from you. And thank you for all your words of encouragement. And as always, may God bless you as you seek Him and glorify Him in all that you do. Bye-bye. Till next time.